Go.
All right, so I am CW Thayer, and we are talking about our brand new project that is going to Kickstarter tomorrow morning. That would be the 26th of March. We go live. It's called Legba's Juke Joint. And basically our story begins...
Just right there, right?
Yep. Our story begins 2 years after the death of Robert Johnson, the famous blues man who allegedly sold his soul to the devil to be the greatest guitar player alive. Our character, Reggie DuBois, goes down to make the same deal because he wants to be the greatest now that Robert Johnson has left that void.
You can hold it up.
Oh, yeah. So, each book in our 9 graphic novel series is a different character in a different decade going to sell their soul to the devil for whatever it is they are.
Is it all set in the South or just different places?
Oh, no. It'll travel. Because the music travel. Now, it starts out with Delta Blues, and the artwork in the book is similar to the comic book art of that decade.
Okay.
So each book, the art will change, as will the character
as the decade changes.
As the decade changes. But the coolest part is the music also changes in the companion album that goes with the record, or goes with the book.
So when they get the graphic novel, will they actually get a CD, or
we'll probably do a digital download? Yeah, I'm trying to argue for CDs
you need a
as
vinyl?
well.
No, you need to do. You need a limit. No, if you really want to go there, do
on our Kickstarter.
Yeah.
There's a level for a vinyl record.
See, that's because there are fans that would rather get a kick out of paying for a vinyl of a specialty than just getting a CD anyway or something anyway.
Yes.
You know,
we're doing a very limited run. Now you will get the vinyl, but you'll also get the digital if you want the digital.
What drew you to Robert's story? What drew you to the Johnson story that made you want to do?
Well, I've been a blues musician since I was like yay high, and when everybody else was listening to Metallica and heavy metal, I was listening to B.B. King.
What drew you to? What drew that?
I don't know. It just called to me. So as long as I've known, it's been like my parents. My first 3 records were Jimi Hendrix's Greatest Hits, or Smash Hits, Led Zeppelin 2, and Cream Wheels of Fire. All 3 albums very heavily rooted in the blues music. So that as I got older, I started to look at like Steve Ray Vaughan and who influenced him. Well, that's Albert King, Albert Collins. Well, who influenced them? And then we take it back and we go back. And I started doing my homework and finding Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Etta James and all the Chess Records cats, Bo Diddley and all those guys. So for me, I followed it back to as far as I could, you know, finding people like...
What did you, when you heard that original story, the first time that he sold himself to the devil, was that, because that actually is very supernatural, but you know, so did you think of it like that? Like when you think of the inspiration?
Absolutely,
like that, you know?
Absolutely. But for me, and this is something I go to in the afterword of the book, I kind of see whether or not you believe in he sold his soul, or if it's a metaphor. As a musician, I've given up a lot in my life to go and pursue this life, to be a musician. Whether it's time, you know, that I could be spending with my kids.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
You know, yeah. I've sacrificed something. I've, you know, metaphorically sold my soul to do this thing that I love. And that to me is a bigger issue. Like, what do we as people give up to pursue our dreams or our passions or our desires? You know, back in the day, they wanted to be the best. Today, we don't even want to be good at anything. People strive
we want an app that tells us we're good.
Right. Well, what we want is we want likes on our Facebook and our Instagram posts. We want follows. We don't even want like real fame or even money anymore. We just want popularity, you know, and it's so fleeting.
Instant gratification.
Right, it's instant fame, you know, and it doesn't have to even last. We just want to be known for something, even if it's something stupid and pointless. So the arcing narrative here in the 9 books is how much we're willing to give up for how little in return today.
When you get to the 9th book or into the now or the future, how do you think it's going to play out for music for that era? Do you think?
Well, obviously the music changes for each book. So we go from the Delta Blues
to the Facebook Blues.
No, but you've got modern music, and obviously we make our way through rock and roll, and before that Chicago blues, and we get the electrified sound. Then we make our way into the 60s, and we get the psychedelic rock and blues. 70s, we get like funk or classic rock. Not sure which way we're going on that, but I'm leaning toward funk. Because when we get to the 80s, then you get artists like Michael Jackson and Prince. You got R&B. Then you get on up to, you know, different art forms. You know, 90s you get, you know, definitely the birth of hip hop, but you also have grunge, which is heavily influenced by the blues. You know, and then you make your way up through the hip hop era. So I mean, there's just a wealth of stuff to draw from.
I mean, one of the things we're doing with a Rattle Radio, it's going to be 45 black stations. So there will be like 10 R&B stations that go from the 40s up.
Right.
They'll have a rock station. They'll have opera. They'll have blues.
Right.
We'll have all these different ways that people have interactions that people haven't heard before and stuff. You know, so I definitely know from our perspective, you have to give everybody a chance, because sometimes if you don't listen to different music, you can't be inspired by music and stuff. I mean, and sometimes people, I have little kids who they'll hear like Sam Smith doing a Etta Waters song or something like that, or just something classic, you know what I mean? And have no idea that there came something before that person singing it, you know what I mean? Like
Beyonce.
They just saw it on YouTube and they think that's the first time it ever existed, you know?
Right.
And you tell them, there's blues. What's a blues? There's you know what I mean? There's something else you got to listen to before this, you know?
Well, that's where this came from. You know, back a couple years ago, B.B. King passed, and I didn't know the man, but for some reason, it, like more than any other artist, it affected me like deeply for some reason. And I think it had to do with the fact that he was a big proponent of taking the music somewhere new to keep it alive. You can't just copy what's already been done, but you can't forget what's already been done at the same time. You build on the past to make the future. So I felt like, you know, I was really down, and I talked to my students, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm feeling down about B.B. King dying, and they're like, who's B.B. King? And I lost my mind. Like, first of all, your parents are fired, because they should have taught you who B.B. King is. Second of all, I'm firing myself because I didn't teach you, because they didn't teach you. So I kind of feel like there's this need to not just get it to the next generation, but to get it to the current generation. Because 99 out of 100 people I asked, do you know Robert Johnson, have no idea who it is.
No, they wouldn't know who he is, but maybe they've heard like maybe a snippet on the Blues Brothers or something like that. You know,
the story is such a huge part of our consciousness, but so is the music. The music is so ingrained in our society, and we don't even realize where it came from.
I mean, tonight after 60 Minutes, Trump may be playing some blues.
Right.
You know.
Right. So I don't know if it's, you know, an obligation or a way to give back, or just to celebrate my love of this music, because it has brought me so much joy and so much in my life that I feel like I have to do something to try and spread the word. I don't know.
No, it's great. So pull the book up and tell people where they can find it out, where they can get it, where they can get it.
The Kickstarter goes live tomorrow morning, and if you can't remember the Kickstarter and all that, just go to IB Comics, as in Inland Blue Comics, and there's a link on the homepage on how to get to the Kickstarter, and we have the video there as well. So
how much are you trying to raise to get to?
We're trying to raise a very small amount for a graphic novel. We set our goal at $3,000.
Wow,
which is very, very, very low.
For blues fans, I mean,
that's nothing.
That's nothing, really.
If everybody just bought the book and got the music with it, we would hit that goal in no time at all.
Where is your music source coming from? Are you guys licensing your music, or where are you getting the music from?
These are original songs.
Okay.
So I wrote the songs and played the guitar on it, and I brought in a really talented friend of mine named Bruce English to come and do the voice, because I listened to how I did it, I listened to other musicians that I know, and I instantly knew that his voice was the voice of this character.
Wow.
As soon as I heard him, I'm like, I gotta get him. He's the one. It's exactly what I hear in my head when I see this character.
On your Kickstarter, can they hear a snippet of the music?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And actually on the Kickstarter video and on our page, there should be a copy of one of the songs at least.
Okay.
There are several underneath in the Kickstarter.
Well, catch you soon, okay?
Awesome.
And you're at WonderCon, right?
Yes, we are at WonderCon. I'm CW Thayer, we're at WonderCon, and you are listening to Rattle Radio.
Okay.